Who is she?
Oh, I didn't think dead stomachs could get queasy, but here we are. Where are we, Sparky?
When are we, Morris?
Quiero
This
decir,
is
¿cuándo,
Shelmiston in
Morris?
Aggie's time.
Porque yo me estoy en la
You should
época
be
de
able to
Aggie.
find some memories of her here.
You are some dogs.
Ah, puedo moverme. Ok. Obonat. Anciano de la aldea. Obonat.
It was the worst night in the world
Una noche.
when Aggie was born.
Aggie fue lo peor de la
It
historia.
began in the
Todo
old
comenzó en la
village,
vieja
the
aldea.
one swept away by the rivers of
En la que
fire.
de ríos de la
The
lava
ground
arrasaron.
shook
La
and the
tierra
earth
tembló.
split open and
La
spat
tierra se
sparks.
dividió y
The sun
comenzaron a saltar
hid
chispas. El sol
and the
se
huts
escondió
burst into flame
y
as
las
we fled.
cabañas empezaron a arder mientras huíamos.
I thought we would all
Pensé que
die.
íbamos a morir todos.
Everyone washed in the burning orange death. And Aggie's mother howling with the pain of the child coming.
Debido a los dolores de una vida que se abría paso.
We made it as far as the cliff top by the sea. The mountain was still roaring and roaring. The rock ran in rivers toward the sea. The air smelled of death and poison.
Y a veneno.
But Aggie was perfect. Small and angry, her tiny fists pummeling the air.
Con los puños
I used my knife to cut
mi
the cord.
cuchillo para cortar el cordón umbilical.
We chose a spot for the new village closer
Elegimos
to
el
the
lugar
beach.
para
The burning rivers cooled to pumice, the black glass.
convirtiéndose en piedra. Pomes y hierbas negras.
I made sure everyone knew that a life that began in this way would be special. Not everyone believed me.
No todos
But
me creyeron, pero Aggie
proved
me dio
me
la
right.
razón. Prove me right. Cuchillo.
My goodness. Giving birth like that must have been awful.
La forma de haber sido
What a
horrible.
terrifying
Qué
situation.
situaciones más aterradoras.
So,
Entonces,
where do you
¿dónde
think that
crees que
knife
estará
is?
ese
Should we
cuchillo?
look around here or...
Buscamos por
No,
aquí cerca
I'm
o-
pretty sure I've seen that knife before. Back at the museum, I reckon.
Okay, Morris, let's go.
Bueno, Morris, vayamos. Vámonos. Back to the museum. Esta copa por Shelmonton cuando era bastante antiguo. Peso humanoide amigo de Aggie.
Of course, we
Por
watched her.
supuesto que la
We had heard
observamos.
of her birth and seen her on the shore,
Nacimiento y
her
la
feet sometimes in the
vista de ella.
seawater, her
A veces
body in
metía
the
los pies
sun.
en el agua del mar con el cuerpo al sol.
We did not show ourselves at first. As a test, we left the mirror on the black shore, born of the volcano on the same day as her, and waited to see what would happen, to see if it called to her.
Nacido del volcán el mismo día que ella. Y esperamos a ver qué ocurría para ver si le llamaba la atención.
She picked it up,
Lo recogió
turned it from side to side.
por ambos lados.
She took it home.
She took it
The next time I saw her, I introduced myself. We sang together, and I showed her how the mirror worked. How if you emptied your mind and thought of air and light and sea, you would see things in its surface. How things would unfurl in the future. Aggie was better at mirror gazing than any of us sea folk.
En el futuro, Aggie sabía observar eso. Mejor que cualquiera los habitantes del pueblo marino.
She saw a girl, her own daughter not yet born, as leader of the dry folk. I told Aggie to keep on gazing into that mirror, that one day the island would need something more than a leader.
Más que un líder.
Oh, I had a box of
Vaya.
rocks that looked like that mirror somewhere. Where did I put it?
Una caja de rocas que se parecía a un espejo. ¿Dónde la he puesto? Mori. Hostia, ¿cómo le iba a encontrar, cabrón?
Whoa,
Vaya.
this thing is really powerful, Morris. Can you feel it?
¿No notas? Sure, Sparky, sure. I feel it. 1400 siglo antes de Cristo. 1400 antes de Cristo, imagínense. Ay, joder, putica. Tum, 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 tum. Nadie te conoce. Puede ser el ancestro de alguien, el tatara 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 hiper tatarabuelo de alguien. Itmi, Ibni, hija de alguien.
I was always fearless. My mother Aggie told me there was nothing I couldn't do. With Otsul and without, I hunted the deer in the woods and the hares on the mountain, all before I had taken my first lover.
En los bosques y liebres en las montañas, todo antes de conocer a mi primer amor. Otsul. Oh.
And younger still, one time Aggie had me knock her tooth out when she was in terrible pain. I didn't mind even when the blood poured out. It was easy for me.
Y aún más pequeña, una vez Aggie me pidió que le quitara un diente que le dolía mucho. Ni siquiera me inmuté cuando brotó sangre. Fue algo.
Spears and knives were my nature. Death and courage were my meat and drink. I knew about Aggie's mirror, of course, but did not believe all of it. When Aggie warned us the mauler was sick and there would be fewer calves for the following years, none of us listened. It was to be my first cull. I wanted their blood. It was my nature. We would not take less of the Morlow just because an old woman told us to.
Iba a ser mi primera matanza. Quería hostia. La chiquita con problemas. Quería su sangre. Era mi forma de ser. No íbamos a matar a menos morlos morlos. Solo porque una señora mayor no lo decía. Es tu madre, coño. No es una señora mayor.
She came to the
Común y
beach
corriente.
after the Morlow slaughter, her hair wild, eyes burning with fury, raged and shouted like a woman out of her mind. We had killed too many, she said. Then she left the village, told us she was
Seguían
done with all of us, forever.
Decía que habíamos matado a demasiados morlos.
As Otziul marked me with oil and blood, I did not mourn my mother leaving. I was young and foolish, and the sight of her ashamed me. But of course, I did not see what was to come.
Cuando Otsu me marcó con aceite y sangre. Wow.
To think that they were still having the same arguments about the Morlow way back in the Bronze Age.
Aggie must have sensed the trouble ahead. Maybe she was trying to find a way to prevent it.
Quizás estaba intentando encontrar una forma de evitarlo. Let's go to the museum. Cabra.
The song, yes, we answer their call.
Ahí está.
Queen of the seas, the mighty grey Morlow. Gave herself to me, gave herself
Morlow.
to us all.
What a beautiful object.
Qué objeto más.
Delighted to have it in our
I took
museum.
up my knife and with all of the town.
I look in you. Boy. Creek. Otra vez.
She was alone, and I would bring her food sometimes, samphire and sea urchins. She would make dry food, and we would eat it together. Textures unlike any we knew that broke apart in your hands and in your mouth. We would sing together, make tea together. We became her family. The dry folk left her alone. She had a companion for a few seasons, a hind who came down from the mountain and slept at her fire. And then, for a few more, a golden hare that ate from her hand. One night we all felt it. Those of us in the water and those above. The island waking, rumbling, alive again, more furious than before.
Digo más furiosa que
I found Aggie awake, tending her fire, unsleeping, unresting, staring into her mirror. She told me she'd seen the island sinking into orange fire and boiling sea, lost forever above and below. The village and our town in the sea caves, all gone.
Se perdía todo para siempre, lo del agua y lo de afuera. La isla y nuestra ciudad en las cuevas marinas, todo desaparecía.
Aggie went to the shore and blew the sinistral shell, calling our people up from the water. Aggie sang for them, the oldest song, and we spoke for some time. That night, the sea and sky was all the same color, a deep gray blue like a mackerel's back without the glitter.
El cielo, en la noche el cielo y el mar eran del mismo color, de una azul grisáceo oscuro, como un lomo de sin brillo.
As the dawn approached, Aggie left the beach to return to her people, to tell them what must be done.
I'm not sure I want to see what happens next.
We have to, Morris.
Yay. Posiblemente. Who are you? ¿Quién eres? ¿Qué estás aquí? Otsul. Anciano de la aldea.
We heard the shell and knew Aggie had returned. Ibni was the leader then. It had taken many seasons, more than we would have liked, but there were finally enough Morlo again and our village was growing. We were strong. Some of the younger ones didn't know Aggie and didn't want to hear her, called her a moon-shot crone, but Ibni looked in her mother's face and saw the truth of it. The end would come. The earth was growling again. There would be hot rivers of death and clouds of poison.
Ríos flamíferos de la muerte y las nubes tóxicas.
But Aggie brought us the answer. She would give herself to the island. Ibni's voice shook. Surely a deer or a goat would be enough. The year's finest, blackest calf. Aggie cast down her eyes and shook her head. We all knew.
El más negro. Ahí cerró los ojos y negó. Todos lo sabían.
I offered my blade, but Aggie turned me away. She took her knife that had cut her own cord the night the volcano last erupted and wrapped Ibni's fingers tight around the bone hilt. It must be you, Ibni, she said, and it must be now before the sun comes up. This day, this morning, or we are all gone. The village, the people, the island.
Hoy mismo, esta noche, o desapareceremos todos. La aldea, el pueblo, la isla.
Aggie embraced her daughter. Ibni whispered something, but I could not catch the words. Both women's faces shone with tears. Aggie sat on the ceremonial stone, the tears streaming now from all of us.
Se sentó en la piedra ceremonial y todos lloramos.
Aggie delivered her final message. She told us her body must not be burned or given to the sea, but lain in the earth of the island beneath the mountain. Ibni was shaking, and then I realized it was not just Ibni. The whole island was trembling under our feet, waking up. Aggie told Ibni to be quick, the end was coming. As Aggie took Ibni's hand and guided the knife to her side, we saw the fish folk rising from the sea, hundreds of them, so many. I had no idea there were so many. Aggie was quiet the whole time, but Ibni cried out, a sound of longing and hurting from her heart like I had never heard. Then she fell silent, and as Aggie's life poured from her body, the island and everything on it fell suddenly still, utterly still.
Isla, isla. Y todo lo que había en ella de repente quedó en calma. Totalmente en calma.
We wept then, in sorrow and relief.
Oh, Aggie. Now that's bravery.
Eso sí que es valiente. Ah,
Morris!
ya lo ves.
Sparky!
Morris.
It's so good
Sparky.
to see you both.
Qué
Hey,
alegría
Aggie.
verlos a
You,
los dos.
wait, you know me?
Of course I do. Morris Lupton, one of the best loved men in the history of Shelmerston,
Porque
with
habla
the
como,
very
como
finest
acento.
dog.
Me? Oh, I don't know.
Come now, let's go out of this place, into the air.
A tomar. Into the air. like the story of this place. Pero al final, un indie muy bonito. La verdad es que sí. Nikki Haggett, concepto original de Richard Hobbs and Ricky Haggett. Pensé que había como 4 personas, pero